So I've been very, very excited to talk about this movie. So as as everyone knows, the John Wick movies are just awesome. They're so sick. Um, Definitely one of the best like original horror. I'm stupid. One of the best original action franchises, of the last 10, 15 years or so. Keanu Reeves is a certified badass in those movies, and it really reignited his career, I think. And like they're 4 for 4. I think all four are like at least like an 8.5 out of 10. Like they are all great. The fourth one's my favorite. I know you love the fourth one as well in the first one, but they're all great. So um, hearing, several years ago that they were going to do a spinoff with Ana de Armas, um, we were very excited. Very, very excited. We love Ana de Armas. She's literally like one of the most gorgeous women ever. Um, and we kind of got a taste of her like action chops in No Time to Die, which is a phenomenal, phenomenal movie. And she's only in it like maybe 15, 20 minutes,
hmm
but she kind of steals the scene like when she's in it. So ever since like that clip and you knew that she was going to be in the new John Wick movie, like we were very, very excited. Um, And then when you kind of learn what the movie's about, you meet the ballerina group in I think John Wick 3 it is.
hmm
So you learn it's going to kind of take place around that and learn a little bit more, dive into that lore. The John Wick world has like such cool and unique lore with stuff like that. I think it's very, very interesting. So yeah, so this movie takes place like pretty much in between John Wick 3 and 4. Um, and it explores that world about like the whole ballerina, whatever that group was called.
The
They're still
Ruska
like,
Roma.
huh?
The Ruska Roma.
The Ruska Roma, that's what it is. And they're still
Sick.
like associated with the Continental and that whole group, but they're also like kind of their own separate thing. So, um, yeah, so I've been so, so excited for this. It was one of my most anticipated for the year. I know you were stoked for as well. So I'm very glad that it is finally here. I was a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie, in the weeks leading up. It was kind of getting some mixed reviews and some bad press. I don't really know why. But I just feel like because I think a lot of it, the movie got reshot, and so that like usually is a red flag. But the thing is, it was reshot by Chad Stahelski, who did the action for the John Wick movies and a bunch of other movies too. But um, I was still very excited. And like I said, I went and saw it on an early screening on Wednesday. Um, and I had a fantastic, fantastic time. Um, it is just as good as I wanted it to be. Um, Ana de Armas, like I said, she is awesome. She is, I can't really think of another like female actress that's just can be a pure action star like that. Maybe like Charlize Theron, but even she's like getting a little bit older. Um, so yeah, dude, I loved this movie. I thought Ana de Armas was incredible as Eve. It was kind of cool, like seeing her journey, kind of she wasn't super experienced, but as she just kept practicing and training, she just became a badass. And you literally see her like on her first mission and then, throughout this story as well. Um, so yeah, the action is right up there on par with all of the John Wick movies. Some incredibly cool sequences that you only get out of John Wick movies. It really like felt in the same world. Like it really felt a part of a John Wick world, both when it came to the action and the style, but also like the music, the score. I don't know if they had the same guy do the score, but it's just such a cool, like good music. It's unique. You got a club scene as you do in all the John Wick movies, and it was great. It was so cool. Yeah, dude, I had a great, great time with this. What did you think? And then we can kind of dive into some pros and cons.
Yeah, no, I don't think I was as nervous as you. I guess I didn't see the reshoot things as much, and I didn't see like the initial reviews, but the couple days leading up, everything I saw on Twitter was positive. So I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna expect, I'm gonna I'm gonna go in there expecting that it's not gonna be as good as John Wick, but it's still gonna be very entertaining, and I want the combat to be just top tier, as just like the other ones are. And I gotta say, man, the hand-to-hand combat did not fall off. It did not miss a beat. Ana de Armas, I don't know how much of the stunt she did. I would imagine that a lot of that hand-to-hand combat was her.
I think
Um,
she did a lot of it.
she was outstanding. I thought the hand-to-hand combat was some of the best that we've seen in John Wick. Of course, when we watch Keanu Reeves do it, when we watch John Wick do it, we just like, of course, like it's top tier. But this one is just as good. I don't think there was any fall off really. I will say that I thought it looked great. I thought the action sequences were shot well. Um, there is something, and it wasn't it was a big one in four. You remember we talked about it, the fire shotgun scene in that one from above. And I just, if they have that in every movie ever, it would just be like the coolest thing ever. They have a little bit, like a couple shots like that. Not a combat scene really, but there's one walk-in right after the flamethrower scene that we see it. Um, and I just think it's so cool. It's like one of the coolest shots in movies. We gotta use that like all the time, I think. I think that should just be mandatory in every action movie. Just find a way to do it. I don't care how, just do it. Ana de Armas was fantastic. I mean, every part of this movie. I don't think she put a bad acting performance. We can talk about Keanu Reeves being a great actor. But we know Ana de Armas is good. We've seen her in plenty of things to know she's good. She was fantastic as Eve Macaro in this. You get, like you said, some very cool lore, some more lore that we see. I thought the continental sequence was awesome because remember, we know that there's no violence inside the Continental. Like, that's a rule. Cannot kill people inside there, no violence. So that was a very cool scene. I like the idea of a cult, like raising people from kids to just be killers. Love that. And I love the idea of the Ruskaroma and the cult, like not working together, but like, hey, we know what you do, you know what we do. We're not gonna cross paths, like we're not gonna interfere. And I feel like in a world like that, that would definitely happen. 100%. You would get like these big, like gigantic players that are just like, if you don't mess with us, we won't mess with you. The bounty scene with the women all taking the calls, still as cool as ever. I love that in Parabellum when we first saw it, or at the end of John Wick 2 when we first saw it. So freaking cool. I really, really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I didn't think I could love Ana de Armas anymore, but here we are after Ballerina, and I love her, even more.
Yep, yep, same here. She really was like just perfect in this role. So yeah, let's jump into a couple cons because I did have like two big ones. But then obviously we can jump into the pros as well. So my first like not issue with it, but something I just think could have been done better or just not really maybe even cut. The first like 30 minutes were very slow. It took 20, 30 minutes. It took a good bit to get going. I understand that you wanted to give her character a little bit of a backstory, but I think the whole initial sequence with her and her dad was a little drawn out. And then you get like probably 15 or 20 minutes of her in the school before she even goes out on the mission. I think all of that was just I mean, I was honestly a little bored. I was starting to like get worried. Obviously, it picks up and then just doesn't lay off the gas, but I do think it was a bit of a slow start. I think maybe it could have been condensed, or maybe just a little bit more of like a flashback sequence instead of like its own thing. Um, but I do understand it was to give her character a little bit more depth. But that was a con for me. And then I also thought Norman Reedus in this was just pointless. I mean, he's entertaining in everything I've ever seen him in. Obviously, he's good in Walking Dead and other stuff that he's in. But I honestly think his character was borderline like completely pointless. And that whole sequence, very, very short sequence with him in the hotel, like them trying to escape. Well, he had his daughter with him, that he had essentially rescued, from the cult. Um, like that part's cool, the fact that like he got her out, but I just thought that whole sequence was also kind of just a little bit unnecessary. It was good action, but I just think Norman Reedus' character was basically pointless. That's my main issue with it. Not that he was bad, I just don't think he was needed. But honestly, those are probably my two only cons. I don't know if you kind of agree with that or if you have other little nitpicky things, but
I have cons.
definitely a lot more pros.
Yeah. So when we talked about this, you said that there was an unnecessary character in this movie, and we do not have the same unnecessary character. I thought the Norman Reedus sequence was fine. I thought his character was fine. There, I felt like he was in there, and I don't think he didn't need to be there. I just like he was just like a little side mission for like the big part. I thought the sister was pointless. I thought that whole reveal was terrible. Like I thought that reveal was so rushed, or it felt rushed, and it felt like not big. We never even got to like, she's kind of honed in on in a couple scenes to where, oh, she might be a bigger player. But not once did I think they were going to go the route of a sister. And when they did, I was like, I don't know if that was really necessary. So I do agree that there is an unnecessary character. We just probably disagree on which character is unnecessary. Um, but I think that can kind of go into the Norman Reedus thing. Um, by the way, him using the shotgun, I think I just love shotguns in movies. Just give me more shotguns. F the pistols, F the ARs, F the snipers, give me more shotguns. Um, but anyways, I think that can kind of go where you find out that he's the son. Like, I just feel like the whole family tie-in to where like, Eve's sister is here and she was taken as a child. Okay, not really important, I don't think, in Eve's character development or what she does as a character or anything. And with Norman Reedus' character being the son of the main bad guy, don't think that has really any significance either. We just wonder why he wants the kid so bad. Um, so yes, I think both of those can be a con. I just really don't think the sister part was necessary, like whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the sister part. I don't think that character was bad. I think you could have still had her in the movie and
Right.
her just be her own thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that reveal that she was his sister was kind of like, okay, that's who cares?
And then they kill her off immediately when you
they kill
find
her off
out.
like immediately after you find
Yeah,
out.
so the
I
other
agree.
one I do agree with the beginning is like slow, but I feel like from the point that we find to where she's like grown up and then she finds John Wick and talks to him, and then she gets her first mission is like a snap of the finger. Like there's no real setup there. I understand that like slow. I could see that. I actually didn't mind the sequence in the house because we saw more hand-to-hand combat. So give me all of that in John Wick. But I did think that like when she talked to John Wick for the first time, and then when she finally got her first mission, I felt like that whole like it felt like 1 minute. It was like immediate, so I didn't really enjoy that. But other than that, yeah, those two things I can definitely get behind and agree with you and, have a little bit of difference. But I think for the most part, we kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I mean, very small cons. We both 100% very much loved this movie. Um, so literally right after, remember I told you, I said like I was getting a little worried, I was getting a little bored. The second she starts her first mission and she's walking in that club with that dress on and you got the John Wick music going, that's when I like sat up on that in my seat. I was like, all right, let's go. This is what I'm here for. And that is the last hour and a half of the movie. Like it does not stop from that point that she walks in the club, does not stop, does not lay off the gas. Um, you can't have a John Wick movie without an awesome club sequence with awesome music and lighting and visuals. I
Absolutely.
think that scene was done great. And then you go into the scene with the um, she was in the New York Continental, but then she was in wherever the other one was. Was it Prague maybe or
Prague.
something?
Yep.
That whole Continental was cool. It was very unique. I think the set design of that Continental was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then the whole last hour of this movie, when she's in that northern town, um, I thought was like perfect. I genuinely think it was perfect. I think the last hour of this movie, outside of like, the sister reveal, whatever, the last hour action wise and story wise was perfect. It was like once I realized that it was gonna be like her in this town and everyone is trying to kill her, I was like, okay, this is sick. It fits perfectly with John Wick, the whole bounty stuff. But um, yeah, I mean, literally from the moment she walks in the club in that dress, I literally had the biggest smile on my face. I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the whole last hour of her being in that snowy town. Number one, it looked great. All of that action and stuff against the snow looked phenomenal. Um, yeah, just great score, great music, great fighting choreography and gun work and camera work and stuff. And then of course we got our boy John Wick,
Yeah.
who is just incredible. Like obviously when you see him earlier in the movie, like in the house or whatever, yeah, it's cool. It's like, oh,
I thought
Keanu
that
Reeves.
was a very cool scene, by the way,
So
the way they did
what
it the first
what
time he
did they
showed
like
up.
the way they like merged it together?
Yeah, because I remember that scene so damn vividly.
Yeah.
And when he's
The
walking
fact
down
that
the
you know she
stairs,
was watching
I was
now.
just like, I was
Yeah.
like, no way.
Yeah. The way they kind of blended
Yeah.
that together was super cool. But then, you go without him for a good chunk, but then at the end when she's like, all right, we need to take care of her. We cannot like, you know, they don't want to like hurt relations with this cult or whatever.
Hmm.
She's like, we need to send the baddest person, and then everyone in the audience knows like who it's about to be, and then the train shows up and he walks off, and my whole audience because it was like a opening like two nights early opening, the whole audience just erupted like when he
Nice.
walked off the train, and they were all like, "It's the Baba Yaga."
Yeah.
And then a couple times in the movie, they were like, "No, it's fucking John Wick."
Yeah.
Um,
He's just a man. And then she walks up the stairs and takes a bullet to the forehead. Oh
dude, but
God.
he was sick. The fact that he like went there to kill Ana de Armas, was a cool like thing. But then obviously like he doesn't kill her. He lets her live after kind of. He's like, I'm gonna give you till midnight. But I think their fight sequence between them two was great.
Yep.
It was really really cool. And then
You know what I also liked, and it's this is gonna sound so bad. But usually in movies like this, when you have like a new face and you know John Wick is just the man, like he's the Baba Yaga, right? Like sometimes I feel like they'll show him like get beat in hand-to-hand combat. He just kicked her ass for like 5 minutes. Like he just everything she tried to do, he had a counter for. He's like throwing her through walls and like everything like that. And he's just saying like leave, just leave. Like that's all you have to do. And he just kicks her ass for 5 minutes. I love that because it's like, all right,
yeah,
Eve is pretty cool. She's a badass, but like that's fun. That's John Wick. Like
yeah.
John Wick's a badass.
Yeah, no, it was sick seeing them fight, but then obviously we got a little bit of action with him fighting the bad guys. Typical John Wick stuff, like the John Wick score came on, and
Yep.
it just felt great. It felt great to be right back in that world of Keanu Reeves and John Wick. Such a cool character. Um, and it's cool to see something that he was up to in between number three and four,
Yep.
and how they all kind of weaved it all together. But I don't think he was overshadowing at all. I think he was used the perfect amount. It was still 100% Ana de Armas's movie. You could have still had this movie without John Wick, and it would have been great. But I think he was used perfectly. He wasn't overdone. He maybe has like what, maybe 10 minutes of screen time,
Yeah.
but it all works. It works with the story and the narrative, and it doesn't take away from Ana de Armas. This is her movie. Um, she is the new action like female star. Like that is all like 100% true.
And it kind of opens up, the ending kind of opens up to where we could get a sequel,
We could.
Parabellum style sequel.
Yep,
So,
yep. It's like almost the same ending as John Wick 2, when the bounty gets sent out and she leaves and everyone's phone starts lighting up. And I remember John Wick 2, like he's in that park and then he just starts running and then the movie ends. Uh,
God.
so good, so good. All of that stuff, all of like the lore and the history that we've gotten in all the John Wick movies, and now this is just so cool and so unique. But yeah, dude, I mean, overall, just incredible action. Ana de Armas is great. Um, Chad Stahelski has an eye for action, unlike anyone I've ever seen. He's got to be the best like fight choreographer, action choreographer in the game. Um, yeah, we didn't really talk about it, dude. The flamethrower sequence, God, it was so sick.
Every single John
I
Wick,
remember seeing it in the trailer, and when I was about to happen, I was like, dude, I hope this isn't cheesy. Like I
it's
was a
not.
little worried.
Literally
I was
not.
like, please be cool. And dude, they did it so well. They made the flamethrower seem like the coolest thing in the world. And I don't know if that was actually her with it. I mean, it sure looked like it, but like, I don't know. It was just done and shot so well. It was just amazing.
Yeah, she like opens that crate and she's like, cool. And you're like, I already know what it is. I already know what it is. Nah, dude, they made that. Oh my God, it's such a good sequence, man. I feel like every time I go into a John Wick movie, I'm like, all right, how did they like one up the action from last time? Like it's gotta be similar, and every single one is different, man. It's like John Wick 3, you take like the very beginning where he's running through killing all the assassins. In John Wick 4, it's the overhead shotgun scene and it's the stair fighting scene. And in this one, it's the flamethrower scene. And I mean, every one of them's different. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he just continues to knock it out of the park. I could watch 100 John Wick movies and they won't get old. They just never do.
Yep. No, I agree, dude. It was so good. The action was top tier. It's exactly what you want from this franchise. Um, Yeah, so I think Ballerina fit perfectly into the world. I would love to see more spin-offs, even if it's a sequel to this or some other characters that we haven't met yet. It was also very cool to see Winston and what's his name? The guy Lance Reddick. What's his name? Character's name though?
I just know him as Lance Reddick,
Yeah,
even when
Lance
I
Reddick.
refer to him.
It was cool to see him again.
Yeah.
Even though it was brief, but
Welcome to
and
the
then
Continental.
Welcome to the Continental. And then Ian McShane as Winston. It was
Yep.
cool to see them back.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, such a good movie. I want more. I want more John Wick universe stuff. Please give it to me. I'm very, very excited for the fifth one. I know we still don't really know any details. I don't know how they're gonna do it because he's dead, but he's the Baba Yaga, so who knows? Please give me him in hell fighting all of his past enemies. I don't know. Something cool. But we'll have to see. But yeah, so safe to say we both loved Ballerina. So now we can jump into our ratings. Um, yeah, so I like I said, did have a couple cons. It's not perfect. I think I think probably like two of the John Wick movies are 5 stars or 4.5 stars. All of the others are like 4 to 4.5 stars. So I gave this 4 stars. Like I said, there were a couple issues with it. But overall, I think the last hour and a half of this, for the most part, is like a 5 star movie. I just think the beginning was a little bit drawn out and I was a little bored. But other than that, the last hour and a half is perfect. So I gave it 4 stars. I think I settled at 8 point. Hold up, Ballerina 8.4. So I put it above Novocaine and Captain America, right under Mickey 17. It's currently my number 9 on the year. Awesome stuff. I do hold like I think John Wick 4 is the best at 5 stars. Maybe the first and second one are like 4.5 stars, and then like the third one and this one are probably like 4. So, um, very good. I loved it. What did you think? What did you give it?
Yeah, so I walked out of it. Like I said, I think that the sister reveal is kind of just pointless, and I do think I understand your con with Norman Reedus, but I still there were parts of this movie where I was like, hell yes. So I still gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd, but I think I settled on an 8.1 for this one. It's still in the top 10. I think it's number 8 on the year, which is still like I mean for one that I thought like because I think this one might be better than the first John Wick, and that's saying a lot if like the first John Wick is still an 8 out of 10. Because I think it is. I just think 2, 3, and 4 are just very good in my opinion. And I just love what they do with the action. I love what they did with the action in this one. I thought it was so good. Like you said, the last hour, the whole sequence in the winter or the snow town or whatever is amazing. The flamethrower sequence is sick, and it really does feel satisfying at the end, and I just really, really loved Ana de Armas. So an 8.1, 4 stars on Letterboxd. Love Ballerina. Go freaking check it out, man. This is a sick action movie. It is just as, I mean, it's not way worse than any of the other John Wicks. It's right up there. So go see it for sure.
Yep, yep, I agree. Please go see it because I think it's kind of underperforming, which makes me sad because it's a great movie and I want more of them and I want more of her. Um, but yeah, awesome movie. Go check it out if you're even a remote fan of the John Wick movies or just action movies in general. It's sick. It's such a good movie.